This is Why You Know Me by Maxwell Shultz. Read by the author, Alexis Cristaldi and Alexandru Sabau. Produced by Coburn. Edited by Heather Terrell. The events described happened between April and July 2015. For privacy reasons, names and occupations have been changed. 1. 19. A few weeks ago, I lied to my favorite author. I didn't do it maliciously, but when David Sedaris signed my favorite piece of writing, his smoking section, I told him I don't smoke. I thought I'd quit the compulsive habit, but here, now, I am at my dresser and ashing into my tray for the upteenth time today. My friend Mike introduced me to cigarettes on a summer night when I was 19. The first pack I bought were Yellow American Spirits. The $11 per pack intimidated me. I needed a stress relief, and Mike knew weed wasn't enough. We walked to a dock and smoked and talked about life for hours. I had just ended the first serious romantic relationship of my life and was suffering a terrible depression over it. I know that the excuse is an overused one, but it's mine. If you are or ever have been a smoker, you know smoking is one of the best and one of the worst decisions you can make. I was 19 when I was eating breakfast with a friend named Phil, and I discovered, undoubtedly, that I am not a heterosexual. It was one of those situations where I found myself in a conversation with the friend and thinking to myself, I would really like to see him naked. Many people have that notion throughout their life about certain people. This time, however, was the first time it was not only with a good friend, but the first time I had these feelings for a man. I knew the situation was bad when it was my turn to speak in the conversation, and I had absolutely no idea what we had been talking about. I made up some excuse to leave, saying I had to go to work, and when I was away from it all, I panicked. Like most people I know who realize something like this about themselves, I tried to deny it for a long time. Very quickly, my feelings for that friend did go away, but I started noticing men the way I'd noticed girls in middle school. I was still very attracted to women, usually much more than men, so I knew that I wasn't totally a homosexual either. Bisexual sounded nice, but it's a little too exclusive. If you're going to be into men and women, why exclude genderqueer people, transsexuals, non-binary, or anybody else? After some research and talking to people in the same situation, I began to identify myself as a pansexual. Merriam-Webster defines pansexual as exhibiting or implying many forms of sexual expression. To me, the term means being attracted to someone's personality and expressions much more than their body or what's between their legs. I am far more attracted to somebody if they can hold a strong conversation with me than if they have a ripped body or watermelon tits. At 19, I should have been living the dream. I began to have some local success as a stand-up comic. I was running my own radio show for the college I attended in Lowell, Mass. Some friends I'd met there are like family now, but going to college at that point didn't really agree with me. I was never financially stable enough to not have to work almost full-time. I was also unable to move out of my parents' house and was constantly under great stress. By the time I was 20, I had dropped out but was still able to keep my radio show. I began putting most of my time into delivering pizza for Domino's to save some quick money so I could get out of town and clear my head for a while. I met a friend there named John who introduced me to the world of couchsurfing.com. The site works a lot like a dating website. You make a profile for yourself and explain what you're looking for, just not in a lover but in a traveling experience. If you and the other person get along as a traveler, he or she will opt to host you on their couch or floor for a day or two in exchange for favors. Something like making dinner or driving somebody to work would count, but no actual currency is exchanged. It's a very useful tool. I fell in love with the idea, saved up my money, and bought a tan, rusty, and overall beat-up 1996 Toyota Camry. Its radio was very strained because although it did not have a CD player, it did have an auxiliary input alongside a tape player. It had brown fabric seats, leaked gas, and worked as my home. I decided to spend my next several months driving, sleeping in strange homes, and doing comedy open mics nationwide.